Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll keep saying welcome until I get some feedback that some of you have joined and can hear clearly and the picture is all right. So let me know. Curtains up. Yes, Anne, we're ready. Drum roll. Piglet. Thank you, Radhika. Hi. Welcome to today's live stream. This is a really significant day. Let's put it that way. Very significant. And this is the reason I decided to come to talk to you about this ingress of Saturn into Pisces at the time of the full moon in Virgo. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be with you today because I felt as though I had something to add to the party. I know there's a lot of astrologers talking about this. It's the talk of the town at the moment. But I'm hoping that I'm going to add some new flavors and new tastes for you to think about at this time. So wherever you are, whatever time of the day it is for you, welcome. So we're making a big transition. For the last almost 3 years, we've had Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn in Aquarius was pretty much the time when we started with the lockdowns, with social distancing, with masks, and with having to communicate to one another online. These were the main features of how life changed. If you look back and you look at all the things that began to happen during Saturn's time in Aquarius, we all had to learn how to communicate online. People couldn't go into work, so we've had to learn how to use Zoom, how to use Google Chat, how to use all these platforms to be able to connect. Very much the technological connection of the Aquarius energy. Now we have, and even my auntie Jenny, soon to be, bless her heart, 101, says to me, and I'm getting on my iPad tonight. I've read the book and now I'll watch the film on my iPad. So everybody as a community, as a humanity, we were all deeply impacted by this energy of Saturn in Aquarius. Now we move into a completely different frequency. Hence the reason for this video, so that we can tune into this frequency together. And I'm going to give you the main themes, like the main headlines that I think are going to be very important and significant. And let's see how we can come together and come up with new ideas as to how we can use this Saturn in Pisces energy constructively, positively, and for the good of all. And also, let's see the things we need to watch out for. Let's see the things, where we might be blindsided and we better just, be aware. So that's the agenda. So what are we moving into? Collectively, we're moving into the virtual world, only differently than it was in Aquarius. Aquarius, we've begun to learn all the technology, all the instruments. Most people really know how to conduct a Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting, various meetings. We all kind of know how to do that now. Now, the next demand or the next possibility is, how do we navigate the virtual world that is going to be heavily populated by AI? The AI has been introduced with the Aquarian stuff. It's going to be magnified with Pluto and Aquarius, but that's a separate video. But we're looking now at for example, AI apps that can create a voice just like yours. And I've been reading, some pretty horror stories in a way of people. It's a computer, it's an AI app that's calling somebody's parents and saying, I need money. And they're sending money to a child or somebody that's supposedly in trouble because it really sounds like their voice. So we're going to have to really pay attention to what is real and what is false and what is fake and what is untrue. And it's going to take quite a bit of distinguishing. So we're going to be living in this metaverse. You'll probably see people with these, what are they called? Masks, visors, living in these imaginary worlds, wanting to escape to these imaginary worlds. And how can we make that positive? Look at ChatGTP, is that what it's called? Sorry, I'm not as up with these things. That's beginning to transform how we communicate. So these are going to be the things that we are navigating as we come into the collective learning of what Saturn in Pisces will be about. But let's just backtrack a little as we're just leaving today, Saturn in Aquarius. And what Saturn wants us to know is, have you learned the lessons that came along? So what have you learned from the pandemic? What have been the lessons that you've taken away now that you bring into this new era that is now, it's like the stage is opening and there's a new backdrop. There's there's new characters. They're playing different parts. Everything's changed. Colors are different. Oh. So what are you taking now with it? From all the fear. Good, Denise, you've learned you must question everything. Great. Okay, that's very positive for Saturn going into Pisces. I learned that I'm not a victim. I learned that I can stand up for what is important to me, and I'm not going to live in fear. And there's no need to hide behind a mask. We had the physical masks, but now the masks are gone. Are you hiding? Okay, Michelle, you learn to trust your immune system and build it up. Great. Henry, you learn that governments can't be trusted. Oh, lovely. Tree legend, Degrand, you learn to use your own discernment. Pascal, not being so obedient. Aglika, you can survive anything. Beautiful. Stephanie, real freedom comes from within. Wow. Caroline found her psychic ability. Great. So it's an important, it's almost like a rite of passage to the new era that's just beginning, is for you to hang on to those lessons that you learned. Speaking up for your soul, trusting your instinct. Love is all there is. Great. Okay. Woohoo. Okay. Thank you. We're having a great interaction. Now, you might want to begin thinking, because these are going to, here are the issues. Let me go through the issues. Ooh, lockdown helped you to find yourself, Yvette, for once in your life. Okay, so make sure you don't lose yourself in the sea of Pisces. All right, Pisces is very much about the consciousness that we're all in and how we infect one another, positively or negatively. Yeah, you know that. I had somebody today, she wanted to talk about the negatives. She absolutely wanted to go into all the awful things about the full moon. Right? And I just didn't give her any space. It was like she tried. It was like she dodged in here and people are having I said, But look at the sunshine shining through the window. You know, I kept bringing her into this now moment that was so lovely between us. Because I knew once you go down that road, it's a very slippery slope. So you're going to have to watch the slippery slopes. Ooh, Logan, you learned this life is truly a movie. Great. This is great. You're all contributing. Thank you. This is going to be valuable now and later. So, thinking about your divine path. All right, we've had the lockdowns, we've had the ability to go within, hopefully. And Saturn in Pisces is really about finding practically your divine direction. And how does that manifest in reality? Yeah, because Saturn is about the reality of your soul's direction. Pisces, Neptune, soul energy. Where does your soul want to go? We're going to see more and more healers, more and more people coming out of that woodwork. And many people will probably go into a time of serious spiritual study. They want to really learn about the mechanics, the science of our world. The new history that we're rewriting or rediscovering, should I say. The old lost chronicles. We're going to be finding things from the sea. The sea and water are going to be massive subjects coming up. Massive. The sea, our oceans. Holy water, the power of holy waters, the holiness of water. Our oceans, cleaning up our oceans, that's going to be a big subject. Recycling, there's all kinds of new businesses popping up about the oceans and cleaning our whole toxicity that we've hidden underneath the water. So anything that's been hidden under the waters of emotions, under the waters of deceit, under the waters of lies, under the waters of fraud, Saturn says, oh, it's time to be accountable. Saturn says you can't just swim around in those toxic waters anymore. We're killing off all our fish. For those of us that are eating fish, we're getting toxified by the aluminium and all the heavy metals that we put in the water. So we have to bring the sacred spirit back into water. It's going to be a huge subject. We're going to be looking at structures over water, building structures over water, building structures underwater, the beings in our water. There's a whole lives, dimensions in the water that we've hardly explored. And apparently isn't it 71% of our planet is oceans and water? So this Saturn is going to have us really looking, being accountable and working with water in very constructive and healing ways. Certain structures may crumble that are not strong enough to withstand rains and flooding and severe water events. But water is going to be a powerful creator and alchemist for us to work with. Water, the tears, the salt, the ocean, our sweat, our connectedness with water. And it's people who work with the sounds of water and anything to do with water and dowsing and all these subjects. They're going to be profound healers. It's going to be, there are going to be mechanisms and healing sounds that people are going to have connected with water that will heal diseases, that will cleanse emotional traumas, that will cleanse generational traumas. I mean, it's massively powerful. And there's something about water. It's like we're all swimming in this water. And how do we use it responsibly and caringly and lovingly? So that's going to be a big thing. And I think there's going to be land rising from out of the sea. I think we're going to see more of that. I mean, it's the start of it during these 3 years of Saturn in Pisces. Now, of course, once Pluto goes into Pisces in 2044, I think we're going to see, wow, even maybe, Atlantis rising and goodness knows what else of the treasures that we find in the sea. But I think there are starting points where science is probably going to have to be rewritten, and we're going to get information from our oceans and seas and waters. And I would use, for those of you, I mean, I just love water, but I would use water as a powerful healing mechanism and as a cleansing mechanism and as something that's very calming, deeply calming and soothing. It soothes the soul. And so I think those of us who actively use this will find instant calmness. So I think that's a very significant part. Now, Saturn wants accountability for the areas that Pisces rules. All right, Saturn comes along and says, look, so one of the first areas is going to be the pharmaceutical companies, drugs. These companies are going to be held accountable during the period of Saturn into Pisces. I think Pfizer comes up as possibly one of the drug companies. I don't know, but Pfizer, I believe, was formed during I can't remember, an opposition or conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are issues around Pfizer that come up at this time, and maybe other drug companies. And we're going to find ethical uses of drugs. This is going to come up. Use of drugs ethically. Because Saturn's going to place structures and laws around accountability for anybody that works with oil, gas, anything that's toxic in the air, that terrible Ohio disaster, the train and the toxicity in the air, all this is going to have to be accounted for. And Saturn won't let that slide. They may try to go around it, but I think it's going to be health systems are going to get tested. And what is going to open up is the field of healings and miracles. Big time. Now, in what way? Well, I was listening to somebody I admire greatly, Gabor Mate, who was speaking the other day, a wonderful, amazing doctor, healer, amazing. And he was talking, we have to have the holistic view. It's not enough just to treat chemically. We have to go to the whole and look within the whole for everything that is there for us. So those who are discerning and use the Saturn energy, we're going to have a whole new breed of doctors and healthcare professionals. Because isn't it interesting, this is what Gabor Mate noted, is that many people do have remissions, spontaneous remissions. They get well, the doctors have given them a short time to live, and so they just recover. And what is astonishing is, largely, I don't think it's all, but largely still, because we're still in the old school, is that the doctors are not interested in what did these people do to heal. The best comment you get likely is, well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. It's working. But not what are you doing? So, likelihood there's going to be the people, the collective, taking responsibility, Saturn, and saying, well, I'm going to diagnose my own issue here. I'm going to see what I can do, and I won't allow anybody to give me a death sentence. And I may be interviewing this lady, I don't know yet, we haven't sort of spoken about it directly, but there is a lady who, for example, who is one of our wonderful soul family, who healed herself from cancer. She has an amazing story. And by sharing that, this is going to help heal many, many, many others. So I think there's going to be a rewriting, and people, ordinary people like you and me, sharing our healing stories so that others can be inspired, can be given faith, and can find ways, new ways, without being given a death sentence. When this lady was told that she had cancer and the doctor said, you know, you really don't think you've got very long to live and we'd better get you a wheelchair to wheel you out of the hospital. And she said she shook like a leaf. And this is somebody who, you know, I won't go into the story because I say she may come on the channel if she would like, we'll see. But there are many, many, many stories like this, and there are going to be many, many more. And together, we are going to begin to create a new faith in the power of holy water, in the power of holy words, in the power of holy thoughts. There is something that is going to emerge out of the sea of consciousness. That is the Piscean energy, and the Saturn makes it real, says, right, let's change science. Let's look at how we see science. Let's look at how we see reality. How do we see it? And is what we are seeing real? And if we change our perception, does our reality change? These are all questions that are coming up. Powerful, powerful things. Boundaries. Boundaries are going to be a big, big thing, of course. Now, Saturn in Pisces says you do need to have boundaries. Yeah, we are part of a soup, but we worked hard during Saturn in Aquarius at saying, hey, this is not okay with me. This is who I am. I found who I am. I'm beginning to find my path. So not getting lost again in the soup of everything that the crowd is going with. No. But if you've got a boundary about something, saying no. And I realize how difficult that is. Yeah, I still find that very difficult in little things. I had a small group, they wanted me to host a Zoom meeting for them. And it was just another thing on my to-do list. And I just felt as though I was saying yes to be nice. And actually, it was doing me no good. And if I'm putting out that vibration, I was doing it with a good heart, but I needed to stop it. So as badly as I felt, I said, well, I really don't feel good about it, but I'm going to have to say I can't do this anymore. Of course, everybody was fine with it, but I went through something. So it's about really maintaining your no. It's going to be a challenge, but the Saturn in Pisces is going to say, do you really want to do this? Or are you doing this just to please? And if you are going to do it to please, then do it with your heart and soul and do it with enthusiasm. But if you're doing with it a toxic energy, you're going to infect everybody else. So, now, what else did I want to go? There was so much I've been meditating on it, been coming up and coming up. Another thing is about learning to see the divinity in everybody. Really learning to do that, practicing it, making it a practice. Spiritual practices, you're going to see that popping up everywhere. These are my spiritual practices. What are yours? Yeah. And almost like exchanging spiritual practices, inspiring one another. So I think building up daily habits of spiritual practice in the world. Saturn takes you into the world. It's quite reclusive in Pisces, yeah, so there will be a need to be alone and to be quiet. But you must bring the spirituality that you learn in your meditation, in your contemplations, in your creativity, whatever it is, you bring it to the world. So I go out and I feed the stray animals pretty much every day. And it's, I love doing it. It's a labor of love, cutting up the food small for the ones that haven't got good teeth and, all that sort of stuff. But daily habits, and it could be praying daily. It could be having faith in a peaceful world. What are the spiritual habits that you are going to build up? Let's share. Let's start thinking about that. Over to you. I'm talking away. Now let's have a few moments of silence to tune in to the spiritual habits that you want to cultivate, that you want to seed, as Saturn just makes this ingress into Pisces. What are they? And they're going to be very diverse. So, thank you, Radhika. You're doing a terrific job. She is of great service here, Radhika. Serving beautifully in the chat, bringing us together, asking great questions. Beautiful, Gertrude, to be more thoughtful and present in preparing food. Beautiful. Timothy, walking your dog at sunrise in a frozen forest. That's very Piscean. Wow. Devoted prayer, being kind to a stranger. Phoebe, thank you. LD doing grid work. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Conscious breathing. Thank you, Logan. Beautiful. Being a good listener, Dominique. Very good. Yes, that's very Saturn in Pisces. See how you're already tuning in beautifully? Homeopathic remedies. Thank you, Adam. Yes, yes. Excellent. So it's going to be a really good time to meditate and to think every day, what can I bring in of a soul practice that will be beneficial, that will help. It makes me feel good, but makes everybody else feel good. Because if you feel good, you can be assured that everybody you're mixing with is going to feel good and get a sense of that joyfulness. Beautiful. Jennifer, you consciously smile at every person you meet. It's so uplifting. Thank you. Oh, remaining silent for several days, hours. Beautiful, Pascal. Thank you. Shirley, pay it forward. Oh, these are beautiful. Danielle, practicing presence. Oh, beautiful. Meditation, breathwork, yoga before you see anyone. Thank you, MF Satya. Oh, these are beautiful. So you're tuning in here. And for each, it will be different. And you may be inspired from some of the suggestions, which is great. But see, what are these soul qualities that I will now manifest and be accountable for our connectedness, being clean. The full moon is in Virgo. Cleanliness is next to godliness, as the saying goes. That we must clean up our toxicity. The way we do it using Saturn is through effort, daily disciplined effort on our spiritual journey. This is the perfect time for it. And the more of us that do it, the more 5-year-olds that are meditating, that are taught to meditate, the more we teach this to our children, the more we experience the true joy of Pisces. Because Pisces is very joyful, is very creative. All right? These are beautiful, okay? And I was asking my Auntie Jenny, 100 years old, young, bless her. I said, what is it that keeps you going? What is it? Oh, she said, I just love being alive. She said, I have to admit, I'm not always happy. I was very sad when I lost my partner of 70 years. They were together 70 odd years. But she said, I'm mainly happy. And everybody I meet with a smile. And I love being alive. So this is great. This is great. And yes, Pisces can take us into bliss. But with Saturn there, we must do the work. That's the challenge here. There has to be this discipline. So if you want to be a good channel, you want to be a good medium, you want to be a good astrologer, you want to be a good tarot reader, you want to be a good healer, the work has to be put in. The time, the energy, the dedication, the devotion. Pisces is a very devotional energy. That is supremely important. Yeah, silence is very important. And it may not feel like work, but there is a soul work to be done. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Each one of us has got our soul work to connect to keep stretching, to keep growing into more of who we are. And as you do that, you help and you infect everybody positively. Because there's always the sliding down of infecting downwardly. Well, there's the infecting of the positiveness. We've got the creativity of Pisces. This is going to really blossom. Music, art, film. And we've got to watch the visual. Pisces rules very much the visual arts, film, video, and television, all these things. And you have to watch disciplined Saturn, what you are getting carried away with visually. If it's a sunset and watching the sea or looking at the full moon, that's one thing. But what are you watching that is influencing your brain, your waves? Because it has a profound influence on you, and it can be very hypnotic. Neptune energy is hypnotic, and it can lull you into a trance. So this is just, I'm giving you the other side. A lot of people say, oh, you're a bit too one-sided. No, I'm giving you the other side so that you can be aware of the kinds of things that you may be influenced by. So it's about going from victim to victor, being victorious over the victim. We're dealing with the world of the invisible, which is Pisces, and the visible, which is Saturn. And these two are coming together. So you're going to get people being prophets. They're going to prophesize things. Are they real prophets or are they fakes? What's true? What's not? This is going to be a big question to keep asking yourself. Is this true? Does this ring true? Does it really? Yeah, this is going to be woohoo, big stuff. So I would say it's going to be a time where we're going to be able to transform our traumas, transform our wounds, I even see that Carolyn Mice is doing some kind of series of webinars with, I think her name is this lady, Tirzah Firestone, who's written a book called Wounds into Wisdom. So we're going to find the wisdom Saturn of our wounds, Pisces, where we were wounded and traumas and all of that. We're going to turn it into wisdom. So this is going to be powerful. And many people are going to be sharing that, and we're going to go into the power of that. So it's the potentials of this time are infinite. Remember, Pisces is this sign of infiniteness. So finding your infinity and at the same time bringing it to our material world. So I'm going to pull an oracle card. I would like to say a very big thank you to Amanda Ellis, who did a lovely presentation and a spread of the cards in her latest March video. Thank you very much for that, Amanda. You did a beautiful job, better than I've ever done. And let's see what the card or cards are for this energy of Saturn in Pisces. We love you always. So this is the frequency of love, and Neptune is the higher octave of love. Venus is the lower octave. Neptune rules Pisces, and this is the expression of unconditional, total love. So that really is the message. We've got 2 more cards that have come up. You're making a radical shift, and as you can see, we really are making a radical shift here, moving from Saturn in Aquarius into Pisces. And the other bit is here, the other card I pulled here is enjoy playful pastimes. Remember that Pisces is playful. It's like the fish, the dolphins, the whales. All this type of energy is prevalent. So I'm going to leave you now. I want to thank Radhika. I want to thank all of you, beautiful soul family, for contributing, for sharing, for commenting, for liking. Much, much love. Let's find more ways to open our hearts and to connect. And I think that the water is a big key. So let's close with some sounds of the sea.